is Emily. I thought it was just another babysitting job. 2 kids, a golden retriever named Buster, a quiet neighborhood. Nothing felt out of place. Until the backyard motion light turned on. I looked through the sliding glass door, expecting to see a raccoon, or maybe a deer instead. I saw a man. He wasn't in our yard. He wasn't climbing the fence. He was standing perfectly still behind it. He never waved. He never moved. He just stood there, watching the house. I don't know how long he'd been standing there. Minutes, hours. I honestly don't know. Then Buster walked over beside me, his ears folded back, his tail dropped, and he let out the deepest growl I'd ever heard. I looked back outside. The man hadn't moved an inch. That's when I realized he wasn't waiting to get in. He was waiting for me to notice him, and somehow that was even worse. Today, I'm 22, and right now, I'm staying at my grandma's house until I get back on my feet. Her house is beautiful, modern, clean. Nothing about it feels haunted, but every night I sleep in the living room. Across from the couch is a wall covered with old family portraits. My great-grandma, my great-great-grandparents, relatives I never got to meet, and above all of them, a huge portrait of Jesus. I know this is going to sound crazy, but after midnight, those portraits don't feel like pictures anymore. No matter where I sit, it feels like they're looking straight at me. I even told my grandma. She just looked at me and said, "Maybe you're doing something wrong in life." I laughed it off, but that answer stuck with me. One night, I decided to prove I was just imagining it. I stood up, walked over to the wall, and straightened every single portrait. Every frame was perfectly level. I went into the kitchen for maybe 10 seconds. When I came back, one portrait was crooked again. When I walked back into the living room, my stomach dropped. The portrait was crooked again. I know I straightened it. I literally checked every frame before I walked into the kitchen, trying to convince myself I was just tired. I fixed it one more time and sat back down. That's when the house got loud. The refrigerator hummed. The air vent kicked on. The hardwood floor popped somewhere behind me. None of those sounds were unusual, but that night, every single one felt like a warning. My phone was dying, so I went into the kitchen to grab my charger. As I reached for it, I caught my reflection in the microwave door. Then I noticed something standing in the hallway behind me. It was impossibly tall. It didn't move. It didn't have a face. I spun around. The hallway was empty. When I looked back at the microwave, it was gone. I started whispering, "In the blood of Jesus Christ," over and over. Then I looked back at the wall of portraits. Every single one of them was staring past me at something standing behind my back. In 2019, the Carter family moved into an old 2-story house they bought for a cheap price. Everything seemed normal until they started hearing noises above their bedroom every night around 3 a.m. At first, they blamed the pipes. The house was old, and the ceiling would creak whenever the temperature changed. But then, the noises started sounding different. Slow footsteps, moving back and forth above them. The father checked the attic several times, but he never found anything. No animals, no broken windows, nothing. Until one night, his daughter woke up crying and said something that made everyone freeze. "Dad, why is there someone walking above my room?" The next morning, the family searched the attic again. This time, they found something hidden behind the insulation. A blanket, food wrappers, bottles of water, and a handwritten note with their families' names on it. Someone had been living above their ceiling, and they had been watching them. The family thought they had found the hiding place, but they didn't realize the person living above them was still inside the house. After finding the supplies, the Carters called the police. Officers searched the attic and discovered a small crawl space hidden behind a wooden panel. Inside was a makeshift room. There was an old mattress, pictures of the family, and a journal. The journal revealed the person had been living there for months. He would crawl out at night when everyone was asleep. He would eat their leftover food, listen to their conversations, and watch them through small holes drilled into the ceiling. But the worst part, the latest entry was dated the night before they found everything. The police searched the property for days, but they never found him. The family moved out immediately. Years later, when the new owners renovated the house, they found something inside the walls. A message carved into the wood. "I was here before you, and I'll be here after you." Some people believe the man was never caught, and he may still be living somewhere above someone's ceiling. Los Angeles, 1985. People weren't afraid of ghosts. They were afraid to fall asleep. Every morning, another family was on the news. No pattern, no warning. Doors were locked, windows were shut. It didn't seem to matter. Neighbors started sleeping with baseball bats. Some kept their lights on all night. Others stayed awake until sunrise because they believed if they closed their eyes, they might not wake up. Police called him the Night Stalker. He entered homes while people slept, leaving entire neighborhoods terrified that they could be next. The scariest part, for months, nobody knew where he'd strike next. Imagine hearing a noise outside your bedroom window. In 1985, real case, real victims. Follow Red Frequency TV for the next episode of True Red Horror Files. They say evil has a face, but sometimes it doesn't. During the 1970s, a charming law student named Ted Bundy gained the trust of strangers with a smile, fake injuries, and a calm voice. Women disappeared across multiple states. Witnesses described the same man, handsome, polite, and driving a tan Volkswagen Beetle. Even after he was arrested, Bundy escaped custody. Not once, but twice. After his second escape, he committed one of the most horrifying attacks of his killing spree before police finally captured him for good. He later confessed to murdering more than 30 women, though investigators believe the real number may never be known. In 1989, Ted Bundy was executed. His case changed how police investigated serial killers forever, proving that monsters don't always look like monsters. Red Frequency TV. Tomorrow's broadcast Another true crime case. Don't watch alone. I got hired as the overnight security guard at an empty office building. Before he left, the old guard handed me a notebook. Inside, every page had the same sentence. At 2:17 a.m., camera 12 will go black. Never look when it comes back. I laughed. The cameras covered empty hallways. What was I supposed to be scared of? At exactly 2:17, camera 12 cut to black. 30 seconds passed. Then the screen flickered back on. I knew I shouldn't, but I looked anyway. At first, the hallway was empty. Then I noticed something. Someone was standing directly in front of the camera, so close. All I could see were two eyes. The phone at my desk rang. I answered. The old guard whispered, "You looked, didn't you?" Behind me, I heard footsteps. Don't watch alone. Good evening. You're tuned into Red Frequency TV. True Crime. Red Files. Tonight's broadcast covers one of the most disturbing criminal cases in American history. Between 1978 and 1991, Jeffrey Dahmer murdered 17 victims, most of them young men, in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Behind the image of a quiet neighbor was a man hiding a horrifying secret. Dahmer lured victims to his apartment, where investigators later uncovered evidence of his crimes. In 1991, one victim escaped and led police back to Dahmer's apartment. What officers discovered inside exposed the truth and ended one of the most infamous killing sprees in American history. Dahmer was arrested, convicted of multiple murders, and sentenced to life in prison. In 1994, he was killed by another inmate. But the question that still haunts investigators is this. How did someone commit these crimes for years while the people around him had no idea? This was Jeffrey Dahmer, one of the darkest cases ever recorded. They called him friendly. He volunteered at community events, entertained children as a clown, and smiled for every camera. But when the sun went down, something far darker waited inside his house. Between 1972 and 1978, young men kept disappearing around Chicago. Families searched. Police struggled to connect the cases. Then investigators entered John Wayne Gacy's home. The smell, the crawl space, it revealed one of the most horrifying crime scenes in American history. Authorities eventually linked Gacy to the murders of 33 young men and boys, many buried beneath his own house. His neighbors had no idea they had been living next door to a serial killer. Sometimes the monster doesn't hide in the shadows. Sometimes he waves at you from across the street. This has been Red Horror Files. Good evening. You're now tuned into Red Frequency TV, the station where the signal is weak, but the stories are real. Before Emily ever stepped foot inside the Harper house, he had already chosen her. It started a week earlier. A security camera outside a gas station captured a tall man standing perfectly still across the street. Emily walked out with her drink. She never looked his way. 2 days later, a doorbell camera recorded the same man outside her apartment complex. He wasn't walking. He wasn't hiding. He was just there. 3 more sightings followed. Different locations, different cameras, the exact same motionless figure. Then the footage stopped. On Friday evening, the Harper family's backyard camera came online at 6:41 p.m. Behind the fence stood the same man. 17 minutes later, Emily's car pulled into the driveway. That was the first time she finally saw him. Whatever you do, don't watch alone. The still man returns. Good evening. You're now tuned into Red Frequency TV. 3 months after Emily survived her encounter with the still man, another report came in. This time, it wasn't a babysitter. It was a mail carrier. His body camera showed him delivering packages on a quiet street just after noon. As he walked past one house, the camera caught someone standing perfectly still in the backyard. The mail carrier never noticed him, but the camera did. 2 houses later, the same figure appeared again, standing in a different yard. He never walked. He was just there. Investigators reviewed the footage frame by frame. There wasn't enough time for anyone to move between those houses. The mail carrier finished his route and went home. He never reported seeing anyone, but the next morning, his own security camera showed the same motionless figure standing at the end of his driveway. The recording ended after exactly 8 seconds. No one has seen the mail carrier since. Whatever you do, don't watch alone. Good evening. You're now tuned into Red Frequency TV, the station where the signal is weak, but the stories are real. Tonight's file isn't about surviving, because no one ever has. They call him the Dream Carver, a smiling figure that walks through nightmares carrying a key carved from human bone. If he presses the bone key against your forehead, you'll hear click. That sound means your mind has been unlocked, and you have 7 nights left. Night 1, he doesn't chase you. He watches, standing somewhere in the distance, smiling. Night 2, he begins following you. Every time you look away, he's closer. You start hearing him laugh. Night 3, he learns your secrets, your childhood fears, the memories you buried. Then he turns them into nightmares. Night 4, he can finally touch you. When you wake up, the bruises are real. Night 5, he no longer waits for you to sleep. You'll see him standing in mirrors, at the end of hallways, outside your bedroom, always smiling. Night 6, reality begins to break. You can't tell if you're awake or still dreaming. He whispers, there's only one door left. Night 7, he unlocks the final room inside your mind, the one even you were too afraid to enter. Whatever kills you inside that nightmare kills you in real life. When they find the body, the victim is always wearing his smile. Red Frequency file warning. If you ever dream of a tall man with a stitched smile carrying a bone key, do not let him touch your forehead. If you hear click, you have 7 nights left. Don't watch alone. Who is the Hush Doll? Good evening. You're tuned into Red Frequency TV. Tonight's broadcast isn't about a haunted doll. It's about the doll that makes haunted houses afraid. Police have never listed it as evidence. Museums refuse to display it. And No family has ever admitted to owning it, yet it keeps showing up, always in someone else's home. People call it the hush doll, because every house it enters becomes unnaturally quiet. No creaking floors, no barking dogs, no insects, just silence. Witnesses all describe the same thing: a cloth body, one glass eye, one button eye, and a stitched smile that somehow looks different every time you see it. The strangest part, it has never been caught moving, not once. Every photo, every security camera, every eyewitness shows it perfectly still, yet somehow it is always closer than before. Some investigators believe the doll only moves during the exact moment. No living person is aware of its location. So here's the question. Right now, do you know exactly where every doll in your house is? Because if you don't, someone may already be making room for the hush doll. Keep your lights on, and whatever you do, don't watch alone. Red Frequency TV, The Red Files, episode, The Hollow Man. Good evening. You're now tuned into Red Frequency TV, where the signal is weak, but the stories are real. Tonight's Red File comes from the forests of Washington State. Locals say there are places in Olympic National Forest where people disappear without a trace. Search teams blame the terrain. The people who live nearby blame something else. They call him the Hollow Man, a former rescue ranger who vanished sometime in the 1980s. Nobody knows what happened to him. They only know he never truly left. He doesn't speak, he doesn't run, he watches. Then, when he decides you're his prey, he starts walking. Show his heavy boots speed walking through the forest. And somehow he never falls behind. If you hear the whistle, don't answer it. The Hollow Man. The forest doesn't lose people. The Hollow Man takes them. True Red Horror Files, Episode 5, Theodore Kaczynski, The Cabin of Terror. Most serial killers hid in plain sight, but one man disappeared into the wilderness while carrying out one of the longest bombing campaigns in American history. His name was Theodore Kaczynski. Living alone in a small cabin deep in the Montana woods, he rejected modern society while secretly mailing homemade bombs across the United States. For nearly 18 years, his attacks targeted people connected to universities, airlines, and technology, leaving investigators searching for a suspect they couldn't identify. The FBI called him the Unabomber, launching one of the largest and most expensive manhunts in its history. The breakthrough didn't come from a fingerprint or DNA. It came from his own words. After a lengthy manifesto was published, Theodore Kaczynski's brother recognized the writing style and alerted authorities. When federal agents searched the isolated cabin, they found bomb-making materials, journals, and evidence that ended nearly 2 decades of terror. One tiny cabin, one man, and a nationwide campaign of fear. This wasn't fiction. It really happened. True Red Horror Files. Don't watch alone. Red Frequency TV. True Haunted Places. 1. The Blue Lady of Denton Road Bridge, Canton, Michigan. Denton Road Bridge in Canton, Michigan has been surrounded by ghost stories for decades. Locals call her the Blue Lady. Back in the 1800s, Canton was nothing more than a quiet farming community. According to local legend, a young mother carrying her infant tried crossing the bridge one stormy night. Something happened on that bridge. Some versions say a horse-drawn wagon overturned. Others say she jumped into the river searching for her baby after a terrible accident. Whatever really happened, people claim she never left. Witnesses have reported glowing blue lights, floating orbs, cold spots, a woman in a blue dress, and the sound of a baby crying beneath the bridge late at night. Most people write it off as another urban legend, but in the early 2000s, a group of college students decided to find out for themselves. They drove out to Denton Road Bridge just after midnight, laughing the entire way there. They mocked the stories and joked that if the blue lady was real, she should come say hello. As they got closer, the laughter stopped. Small glowing orbs began appearing around the bridge. The temperature inside the car suddenly dropped. Then they heard it, a baby crying somewhere beneath the bridge. At first it sounded far away. Then it got louder, closer, closer. The driver pulled over. Nobody wanted to get out. The crying wouldn't stop. Then a faint blue light appeared at the far end of the bridge. It wasn't a flashlight. It wasn't another car. It was floating, slowly moving toward them. Nobody spoke. The light kept getting closer. The crying kept getting louder. One of the students whispered, "Let's get the hell out of here." The driver slammed on the gas as they sped away. They looked in the rearview mirror one last time. Standing in the middle of the bridge was the silhouette of a woman, glowing blue. They never returned. Whether you believe the legend or not, people still avoid Denton Road Bridge after dark. The question is, would you? Red Frequency TV, Red Files, episode, Never Sing Ba Ba Black Sheep After Midnight. Everyone knows the nursery rhyme, Ba Ba Black Sheep, have you any wool? But almost nobody knows how it originally ended. According to an Old English legend, the black sheep wasn't an animal. It was something that walked on two legs. Parents would sing the rhyme whenever children disappeared from villages at night. The 3 bags full weren't bags of wool. They were said to be 3 souls the black sheep had already collected. One for the master, one for the dame, and one for the child who sang the song. The legend says, if someone finishes the rhyme 3 times after midnight, you'll hear soft footsteps outside your window. If you look, you'll see a figure covered in black wool, standing perfectly still. It never knocks, it never speaks. It only waits, and every minute you refuse to let it in, another sheep appears behind it. People who counted all of them were never seen again. So tonight, if you hear someone quietly singing, Ba Ba Black Sheep, don't answer, because it might be waiting for your verse. Red Frequency TV. Don't watch alone. I heard my brother before he ever arrived. I was alone in my house, upstairs in my office, finishing some work. That's when I heard the front door unlock. Then, hello. My heart actually jumped. It was my older brother. He had this weird way of saying hello that nobody else could copy. He lived 4 hours away, so I wasn't expecting him. But I smiled anyway. I yelled, "Give me a second, I'll be right down." I saved my work, walked downstairs, and the house was empty. The front door was still locked. No footsteps, no car outside, no brother. I searched every room. Nothing. For the next few minutes, I convinced myself he had somehow left before I got downstairs, even though That made absolutely no sense. I went back to my office. The second I sat down, the phone rang. It was my brother. He laughed and said, "Hey, just wanted to let you know I'll be in town in a couple days." I felt sick. I accused him of messing with me. I made him prove where he was. He was still 4 hours away. That voice, the one that called my name from downstairs, wasn't him. Sometimes I still hear that same hello. Only now, it doesn't come from downstairs anymore. It comes from the hallway outside my bedroom. Red frequency TV, red file, Drawzone 3. I seen him in my nightmares. Good evening. You're now tuned into Red Frequency TV, the station where the signal is weak. But the stories are real. Tonight's file asks one question. What if your worst nightmare was hunting you? People call him the Dream Carver. Nobody knows if he was ever human, but everyone tells the story the same way. If you dream about a tall man with a stitched smile, holding a key made of bone, don't let him touch your forehead, because if he does, you'll hear one sound, click. That's the bone key unlocking your mind. From that moment, you have 7 nights left. Every night, he returns, learning your fears, twisting your memories, making your nightmares more personal. You'll hear him laughing. By the 7th night, he opens one final door, the one even you were too afraid to enter. Whatever kills you inside that nightmare kills you in real life. And when they find your body, you'll be wearing his smile. Red frequency file warning. If you ever dream of a smiling man carrying a bone key, do not let him touch your forehead. If you hear click, you have 7 nights left. Don't watch alone.
Red Horror Files, Episode 6, Eileen Wuornos. What if I told you one of America's most infamous serial killers claimed every victim attacked her first, and that, even today, people still debate whether parts of her story were true? Eileen Wuornos was a former sex worker who murdered 7 men across Florida between 1989 and 1990. After her arrest, she admitted to the killings but insisted she acted in self-defense, claiming each man had tried to sexually assault or kill her. Investigators, however, found evidence linking her to the murders and concluded they were not justified acts of self-defense. Her own girlfriend eventually helped police locate and arrest her. While on death row, Wuornos gave bizarre interviews, claiming the government was watching her, controlling her mind, and plotting against her. Her mental state appeared to deteriorate as her execution approached. In 2002, Eileen Wuornos was executed by lethal injection. To this day, her case remains one of the most controversial in true crime history, with people still debating how much of her story was truth and how much was the mind of a deeply troubled killer. This has been Red Horror Files. Every day, thousands of people claim they've seen something they can't explain. A voice in the woods, a figure standing at the end of an empty hallway, a road no one remembers driving onto. Some disappear, some survive, some never tell anyone. This is where those stories are heard. Welcome to Red Frequency TV, your destination for terrifying horror stories, unsettling mysteries, disturbing encounters, and nightmares that stay with you long after the screen goes dark. New YouTube shorts, new videos, new transmissions. If you love horror, you've found your frequency. Subscribe to Red Frequency TV on YouTube. Follow us on TikTok and Instagram. The next transmission is already on its way.